This video is coming super late because there was some drop-in ball hockey that I played, and because of that, I ended up not being able to watch the end of Boston versus Florida. And I know, it's been a few hours since the game ended, and I think a lot of you probably already know what happened, so I'll spare you the details right here. The Boston Bruins of 2022-2023, the best regular season team in NHL history, have just gotten eliminated in the first round of the playoffs in Game 7 overtime by Carter Verhaeghe and the Florida Panthers. 4-3 is the score of the series, 4-3 is the score of Game 7 in OT. And this was a series that a lot of people, myself included, kind of felt that Boston should have had in the bag. Not necessarily because the Bruins are such a vastly superior team on paper and their players are more skilled and their players are better and this and that, but because the Boston Bruins were literally just as we had talked about, the best NHL regular season team we have seen in history. They set the records. They won all the games. They had so many points and they broke all of these long-standing NHL testaments of time that if they were to get eliminated in the first round in any respect, it would have been seen as an absolute failure. Not at the season, of course. They still have those records, don't they? But of the playoffs, this was a team that had loaded up at the deadline and were pretty much poised to win it all. I had them in the finals of my Stanley Cup bracket losing to the Oilers, and I think a good chunk of people watching this video and watching this channel also had the same. And so to see Boston lose out to the wildcard team in Florida, Sunrise, the President's Trophy winners of last year, that lost out on Huberdeau, that lost out on Uyghur, that gained Mateychuk, that were kind of shaky in net, that in and of itself is a failure. Now, as I said, I didn't watch the ending parts of this game. I watched the first two periods, just kind of had it on in the background while I was editing and doing other stuff, but I had to leave. The game started out 2-0 for Florida, and at this point, a lot of people sort of sensed the panic at TD Garden, the panic amongst the Bruins, the tentative play that we were seeing out there from the black, yellow, and white. But eventually, you saw yourselves the Bruins come back. David Krejci gets a power play goal to make it 2-1, and Tyler Bertuzzi with another power play goal in the third, tying things up 2-2. It was the start of the third period, and I was like, okay, it's now 2-2. The Bruins have the momentum. I'm going to get ready to go to ball hockey because I kind of need to get my fitness on. As I said, I'm back from LA. I had spent an entire week just kind of lazing around and not doing anything, walking around and not playing hockey. So I kind of needed to get my fitness up, and if it meant losing out in the last parts of this Game 7, if Boston ends up winning, then okay. You then had yourselves, as I was leaving the house, David Pastrnak score 4 minutes after the Bertuzzi goal, making it 3-2 Boston, and I was saying, okay, great, Boston is going to win. I'm going to have to go to hockey, so I'm not going to be able to make a video about it, but if Boston wins, then that's fine. We don't need to make a video about it because the expected team would have won, right? And ball hockey for me was actually pretty good. I scored 5 goals today, and they were all really nice ones too. On the rush snipes for the hat trick, the natural hat trick. No, it wasn't natural, never mind. And then a really nice backdoor tap-in goal as my 5th goal on the night. Very good performance out of me. But while my hockey dominance return to the floor was going on, we had ourselves Florida. And I got the updates on my phone. My teammates were kind of chirping around and saying what was happening while the game was going on. It's Brandon Montour in the last minute of the third period who ties things up 3-3, and 8 minutes into the overtime frame, it's Carter Verhaeghe who scores along the side, makes it 4-3. The Florida Panthers have booked a date with the Toronto Maple Leafs in the second round because of it. Boston is now out. And I was like, okay, crap, I gotta make a video about this now. Here's a little bit of an insight as to how YouTuber mentality goes. If Boston won this game, I wouldn't have made a video about it. Why? Because everybody thought Boston would win. From the get-go, Boston was supposed to win. If Boston didn't win, this would be an absolute anomaly. But they didn't. And that's kind of why we're making the video here now. Because the underdog, the Florida Panthers, the President's Trophy winners from last year trying to claw their way back in, have finally gotten over that hump and defeated the big bad foe. And you know who's at the heart of it all that I wanted to give a big shout out to? Sergei Bobrovsky. The guy had 36 shots against, 33 saves, a .917 save percentage, and I wanted to go out there and bring out this piece of trivia to you too. when the Tampa Bay Lightning had themselves that beautiful run in 2019, only to get swept by the Columbus Blue Jackets in the first round. Who was the goaltender of Columbus? Yeah, it was Sergei Bobrovsky. He won games 1, 2, 3, and 4 against the Lightning to sweep that team, the then best team we had seen in the regular season, or at least they were tied for it back then. So Bobrovsky literally was the David taking down the Goliath in 2 consecutive series, Tampa Bay in 2019 and Boston in 2023. Kind of funny how this is the guy who is at the helm of it all, but of course this time around he didn't end up playing the entire series. He played 5 of the games, he didn't play in 1 of them, so either way, he gets the majority of the starts, he gets the majority of the playing time, he gets the majority of the saves, and Sergei Bobrovsky finds himself in the second round going up against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And that's gonna be fun. We saw a lot of Leafs fans yesterday going out there and chanting, "We want Florida, clap, 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 clap." And, I mean, okay, who's gonna blame them? Boston beat them out in all the previous series they had played, twice in the Austin Matthews era, and then again in that Game 7 with Phil Kessel and Kadri the Bergeron goal in overtime, blowing the 3-1 lead in the Game 7. So, Florida, y'all knocked out the Boston Bruins team that a lot of Leafs fans were scared to play against, and now y'all are playing off against that Toronto team in what is going to be an interesting second-round matchup. We'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow, but for now, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Boston Bruins losing and not advancing past the first round in a season where they were destined to dominate. My bracket is now ruined. I had the Oilers winning over LA, which happened. I had the Vegas Golden Knights winning out against Winnipeg, which happened. I had the Stars beating the Wild, which happened. I had the Islanders beating out the Hurricanes, yeah, so I was already doomed from the get-go. But either way, thoughts in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.